Hello, Flosstube, my stitchy friends. Happy Sunday and welcome to Handmade by Sarah W. This is my Flosstube channel where I talk about cross stitch and all of the things that I love so much, and I'm so glad to have you here with me today. It's a beautiful sunny day in Alabama. My name is Sarah. If you're brand new here, welcome to my channel. And I've got a lot to show you, a lot. So it's been 2 weeks since I have been here with you. So this is Flosstube 49, if I didn't mention that. And I've got 5 fully finished things to show. If you know anything about me, I like to finish in bulk. So I'll finish stitching several things and then I'll just have like a finishing afternoon. And so that's exactly what I did. I finished 5 things and I have 1 stitch finish that's not fully finished yet. I've got 2 new starts and 6 WIPS. So let's get right into it, shall we? Let's start out with the fully finished things. All right, I'm just gonna go down the list in no particular order. All right, so this first finish comes from the cookbook that comes out every year at market, and my friends and I decided to jump in. Our friend Allison, who's AllieCat13 on Instagram, is hosting a stitch along called Happiness is, let me see if I wrote it down. Oh yes, Happiness is Handmade Sal. Handmade or homemade? I think it's handmade. Happiness is Handmade Sal. And this is take any stitch from any of the cookbooks and stitch along with us. So the one that I chose was from this year's cookbook, and it was by Robin Pickens, and it's called Berries. And here is my fully finished. So it's adorable. It has all these berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and it's so cute. It says berries at the bottom. I chose a green rickrack to match with the top of the strawberries. And the fabric on the back is a strawberry fabric with pink background. And the fabric that I stitched this on is not something that's available. It was like a one-time in an advent box that I got from Tiger Lily. It was dyed by LFA Linens, and it's not something you can get. I'm not even sure if it had a name really, but it was a 16 count Aida, and I used all of the called for DMC, and I did stitch with 2 strands. So there's my finish. I love it. I think it's so cute. Love the green rickrack. Thought it was a good color to choose. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize if you can hear some little voices outside. There are some neighborhood kids playing right close to where I'm filming, and of course when I got everything set up, everything was calm and not loud, and then as soon as I start filming, here we go. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. Maybe you won't be able to. Okay, my next finish. This was something that I stitch along with several friends, and this is called There's a Hair in My Garden by Hands On Design, and here is my finish. So this is part of a series that Kathy is doing, the BAP series, which stands for Big Amazing Produce. So this first one was a strawberry, and she has, I was watching one of her Facebook Lives, and she was telling that not Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and she was telling how she's going to do a tomato and a pumpkin. I'm very excited for those 2. I love tomatoes so much. I could just eat tomatoes every day. But anyway, you know, I really love fall. So the pumpkin I just can't wait to see it. So anyway, let's talk about this. So she had charted it and did a call for a large fabric with pearl cotton floss. Well, I did not do the pearl cotton. I did DMC, which that's okay. It's the same colors. So if you don't want to do the pearl cotton, you can do the coordinating, like the same exact number DMC floss. And so I did do it on a slightly larger than I normally would use fabric. I did a 14 count because I didn't want it to be tiny. But so yeah, this is a Zweigart Ada in the color Vintage Taupe, I think. Yes, 14 count Vintage Taupe. And I did all the called for DMC colors. So let's just get in a little closer so you can see the whole strawberry here. So here's where you can see my seam that goes up, and you have the bunnies and the greenhouse, these like really cute carrots. I'm glad you can see my back stitching details. It looks like you can see it on the camera. The Smyrna crosses, so pretty, so much detail. Kathy just knocks it out of the park every time. So if you are thinking about stitching a strawberry and you've never finished one before, to me it's just such an easy finish. You may look at this if you've never done one and think like, how could I do that? But I'm going to direct you to a really good tutorial, and this is the one that I use every time I do a strawberry, and it is by Helen D. I'm going to put a link to that video down below. If you're thinking about doing a strawberry, in fact, a good friend of mine texted me and she said, I'm thinking about joining your cell, which is, I'm going to show that in a second. She said, but I've never finished a strawberry. I said, hold on. I sent her the link to Helen D. I said, watch this video first, then commit. And when you see just how manageable it is to finish a strawberry, I think you would be interested. And I really like to say, try different finishes, try something new. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, yes, we do invest a lot of time into our stitching, but like the next one I'm going to show, it took me 3 days to stitch it, and I really could have finished it in probably 1 or 2 had I put more time into it, but I was working on other things. So anyway, try it, you know, like what's the worst that can happen? And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram, but this is something I think everybody can do. Now, when I do my strawberries, I use my sewing machine to do this, but you could do that by hand for sure. The rest of it I do by hand. So you sew this up, and then you kind of cinch it around the top. You know, you stuff it. So like Helen D does, I put yarn in the bottom of mine, and then whatever kind of stuffing you like, you know, polyfill or whatever, and then you cinch it up on the top. Now let's talk about my little topper. So in Kathy's chart, I noticed that she had used some green gingham ribbon, but I was going to use the green ribbon, but I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I'm honestly not sure how she did hers. But when I got my ribbon out, this just sort of came to me to do these little loops on the top, and I thought it was precious. And so here's what I did, okay? I took the wool felt, which this is actually the color that Kathy used in the chart. I'm going to try to get up close so you can see the detail here. But what I did was I cut out 2 pieces of the felt. I didn't even use a template or anything. I literally, because you know what, in my opinion, like this is not completely perfect or uniform or anything like that. But really, strawberries aren't, you know? And that was kind of the look I was going for. Just kind of like I cut it out by hand. I didn't have any kind of a template that I used or anything. What I did was once I cinched the top, I kind of measured how big, like where I wanted the leaves to kind of stop. And I cut out a circle that size. And then I just kind of cut the little scallops. Then I took some DMC thread, and I'm going to try to get up close to show you, okay? And this is what Kathy did with hers. But first I did a blanket stitch. all around the edges to attach those two pieces together. Then I did the, trying to see if it'll focus. I did the kind of like the veins of the leaves. Anyway, when I did this part, I really just kind of looped 4 loops, took it over to my sewing machine, and then I hand sewed that on. So, oh, and I did tack it down on each scallop, but that's how it's attached. So like Helen D does, when I do this, I'll like start here and then move over to the opposite side, and I just kind of keep going back and forth like that. And so anyway, I think it turned out really great. If you have any questions, if I didn't, go over something and I hope I said everything, but if I didn't and you have questions, just let me know. My information's down below. You can always reach out to me, but I think mine turned out really cute. I love it. And I do love a strawberry finish. So this is going to lead me to talking about strawberries. Let's talk about the Mayberry Sal. So my friends and I, so let me tell you everybody who is kind of in my friend group that we're hosting this Sal. So Sarah, who is Stitchy Sarah Reads on Instagram and Sarah's Stitchery here on YouTube, myself, Michelle of Michelle Lee Quilts, Karen, Benton Station Crafter on Instagram, Allison, AllieCat13, Lori, The Grateful Needle, and Emily, Short and Stitchy. Okay, I think I named everybody. Okay, me, Sarah, Karen, Allison, Lori, Michelle, Emily. That's 7 of us. Okay, I think I got everybody. We decided to pick an Erica Michaels strawberry. She is famous for her berries. And stitch it together. We're doing it loosely the month of May, like start whenever you want, join whenever you want. It really doesn't matter, but that's where our hashtag came from, was the Mayberry Sal. So the one that I chose is from this book. Let me say the first one that I chose is from this chart called the English Sampler Berries, I think. And the one that I stitched is the Tudor Rose. And here is my finish. Literally, I started this May 1st. I had it fully finished by yesterday, which was May 3rd. When I tell you I could have stitched it in one day, I could have. So I'm just gonna kind of turn it here so you can see all the detail. When I was choosing my berry and I saw this one, these are my colors, like blue, pink. Those are my favorite colors, blue, pink, and purple. Love that. So I thought this is definitely the one that I want. This had been released, I want to say it was like part of a club or something previously. So I didn't think I was going to be able to get it, but then I realized it is released and you can get it. So I ordered mine from 123 Stitch, and there are 2 other designs. I'm going to stitch both of them. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for the whole month of May, and this is just like a loose goal, whatever, but because they're so quick to stitch up, and there are several that I want to stitch, I think I'm going to aim for 1 berry a week for the month of May. Jump in, do one, do a bunch. If you would like to join us, we are so laid back about, like, there's no like rules or none of that. This is just for fun. And this is just, let's try something different. If you've never done it before, please join us. Like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to assist. But it's when you see how simple it is to assemble, you'll be a strawberry making machine, okay? All right, so let's talk about my topper because I think it's so cute. Look. again, I didn't have like a template even. I finished the berry up until where it needed a topper. I kind of measured how far out I wanted it to come, cut out a circle, and then I just started going from there. And I did put, can you see the little details I put on the leaves? Anyway, and I tacked it down just like I told you before. And I just think it's so cute. So I have another book that's a Blackbird book. It's called Deck the Halls, and it has a bunch of berries in it. I want to stitch every one of those. You know I'm a big Blackbird fan. Oh, there's an Erica Michaels one with a blue house and a flag. I want to stitch that one. There are some Halloween ones that are so cute I want to stitch. Oh, the bird ones. I love those. Like there really is something for everybody. So join us if you'd like, Mayberry Sal. And tag us on Instagram if you do stitch it with us, because I would love to see your progress. I've been sharing others' progress in my stories. So if you are thinking about starting and you're not really sure what design to choose, that's a good place to start. Like, watch my stories, because I'm putting, I am, sharing other people's, not just my own. And you can see all the different designs, and you may even see some that you've never seen before. So anyway, let's go on to my next fully finish. And let me see, was this? Honestly, this might have been a new start. I think this was a new start, a stitch finish and a fully finished since my last video. I don't think I had started it, but who knows? I can't remember. So this is called the Georgian Floral Basket by JBW, Judy Whitman. And here's my finish. I love it so much. This was one that came out at market that I just fell in love with. I love a good pink floral chart. This basket is precious. I love it. I love the little hints of blue coming out the sides. And this one I stitched on, let's see, an 18 count Seraphim fabric in the color Prairie Grass. And I did use a Lady Dot Creates trim that I thought coordinated nicely. When I was trying to pick backing fabric, I went to my pinks. Nothing was speaking to me. I went to my blues. No. I ended up with just like an ivory, like a cream colored back. I thought it complemented it perfectly with the lighter colored flowers, and I'm super happy with my choice there. So that's my finish. And I did forget to tell you what fabric I stitched this berry on. I'm so sorry. This is an 18 count Fiber on a Whim in the color Milk and Honey. So you see how small this is on an 18 count? It would be perfectly fine on a 16, a 14, or whatever. Just because I stitch something on a certain count doesn't mean that you have to. If you do it on a different count, it's just going to be a slightly different size. No big deal. The only time it really matters is if you're trying to fit something into a specific frame or something like that. If your finish depends on, for example, you see this round, this tart that my friend Allie stitched that for me. Well, if she wanted to finish it in that, she had to make sure that her stitch count is going to fit inside of that. But for example, this pillow, well, a pillow can be whatever size you want it to be, so it really just, you can stitch on any count that you want, any fabric. Okay, I have one last FFO, and I'm really excited to show her to you. And this is Miss Maggie May. She's an animal cracker from Stacy Nash. And here she is. This is my little Maggie May. So the animal crackers a lot of times come with a little accessory or something. In the chart, this radish was a needle book. I just finished it like a little pillow, and I put just some lady dot ribbon on there that coordinated, and just put a little pin on there to attach it to her. But this is my finish of Maggie May. It was my first animal cracker to stitch and finish, and it was fine. I'll tell you how I did it. So when I got done stitching her, I ironed her, I put some interfacing on her, and then I just traced where I wanted my stitch line to be. So I literally just on the back where the interfacing was, I just used my friction pen and just traced around where I was going to sew, okay? Maybe about 1/4 inch or so away. And maybe like half, really like maybe 1/2 inch. That way I would have like a 1/4 inch showing and a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So what I did was, and this is similar to how I do, let me show you this. So when I do a pillow, okay, typically, now I didn't on this. This one has velveteen on the back, and I did not want a seam. I wanted it to just be that velveteen. So I stitched it up. I left a hole in the bottom to turn. But like, for example, these, what I do, and there's a tutorial that Tiger Lily did, and when I watched that, this is how I've done them ever since, is I create a seam that you can open up easily here and then whip stitch closed. So that's what I did on this. And I left it on the bottom. Can you even see it? I don't even know if you can even see it, because what I did, so I opened it up, I turned it, I stuffed it, I whip stitched it closed. Then I took a piece of the same fabric and covered that seam. And I mean, I don't even think you can see it, you know what I mean? And I did her little radish in the same fabric, but I do love her. I think she's adorable, and I want to do all of the animal crackers. I'm working on another one. I'm going to show her to you. And I think I kind of hinted to which one I was going to start in my last video, and I did. She'll be the first new start to show. But anyway, so I don't know what I'm going to do next because she's almost done. So this is a dream to stitch because there's so much fill in. So these animal crackers have been my purse project. So I've been taking them on the go and fit. Once I get it to where they're fill-in-able, I love that. I did change up a little bit. Her dress is, in the chart, she's like a gray dress and like a, I think like a yellow or green cardigan. So I did change the dress to a light blue, and it's, I think the color was Freedom, maybe, Gentle Arts, I think. So you see it's like a light blue instead of a gray. And then for her sweater, I did Sanguine, I think. Yep. So I love her so much. She's adorable. I've loved seeing everybody's version of her in particular. A lot of people are changing her outfit, and it's been really cute to see. In fact, I was watching Holly, who is Mrs. Jones Stitches, and she had the idea, because she just finished hers too recently, and so she had the idea to do a hashtag called, I should have written this down. You'll have to go watch her video to make sure, and I'll use it too on my Instagram when I post her, but it was something like Maggie May fashion show or something, and then that way we can all see like the different Maggie Mays. That's really cool. And it's good inspiration too if you haven't stitched her and you want to see like what other people are doing. Pretty cool. So that's my last FFO for this video. So that was 5 things. So I'm pretty proud. And 2 of them were, you know, just like rectangular pillows, but I had 2 strawberries and an animal cracker. So I'm pretty proud of myself. All right. I do have one FO to show. This is a stitch finish. Okay. Oh, I love this. I'm so excited to show it. So this was my birthday start this year, and her name is Ann Hughes. We had a hashtag for this, Ann Hughes B-Day Sal and Sarah's B-Day Sal. I kind of use Sarah's B-Day Sal every year, but Ann Hughes B-Day Sal was for this particular project. So this is from Quaint Rose Needle Arts, and I did leave some off of the bottom. There is some words and a couple dogs. I would have stitched the dogs, but it didn't make sense if I was going to leave off the words. So I just kind of picked a cutting off spot and left it at that. So I'm obsessed with this. I think the colors are just my favorite. You know, the pink, the blue. The house is done in a red on the chart, but I did mine in blue and I could not be more happy. This chart here behind me was another birthday start that was a red house that I changed to blue. So kind of a theme with me. I did stitch this on 18 count Seraphim Old Stationery. There's a little more of a close-up look. So if you notice, this right here is Cottage Garden Threads, and oh my gosh, it gives such a cool effect. I just love this chart. I'm just so happy with my finish. I'm excited to get it framed. So next time I show it to you, it will be in a frame. Okay, so now I feel like this is a longer than usual video. I'm sorry if I got a little wordy. I try to keep them going and keep them, you know, but I just was really excited about my FFOs. Okay, so let's talk about my new starts. I've shown this before. A friend made this for me, and this is my purse stitch. So I love to have a purse stitch that anytime I'm away from home and I have time, I'm going to stitch if I can. So this project has gone with me to, you know, I've stitched in the car, I've stitched at the doctor. Oh, she went to the park with me the other day. I've sat on my back porch and just grabbed her when I was on a long phone call. And stitched while I was talking. But this is another animal cracker. This is Lily by Stacy Nash. I'm so almost done. I just have the rest of her dress here. And then she has an accessory too that I need to stitch that as well. But other than that, Lily is going to be done soon. And I'll be finishing her up very quick. I did the called for on this. Except for, I did a DMC for this part, but everything else I think was the called for weeks. So it's so pretty. This is being stitched on, and I'm sorry, I also, in all my talking, I didn't even tell you what fabric she was on. It's the same fabric. They're both on 18 count Seraphim Old Stationery because, well, let me tell you, this project, Ann Hughes, when I cut it off, this is what was left, this strip. Well, I kept it, and it is the perfect size for animal crackers. So I got Maggie off of that one. Lily, I'll be able to get one more. So, well, as long as I don't do her accessory on this fabric, I can get one more, which I was already thinking of doing it on a lighter piece of fabric anyway. And so I'll be able to get one more on here. So it's perfect. I love how that worked out, that my scrap worked perfectly for these. So anyway, I did start her, and I will have her finished by the next time I do a video, because she doesn't have much left to go. In fact, I would have had her finished. It's just, I really like a fill-in project for my purse. And so I really haven't been wanting to work on it at home because it's so easy to just pull out. Oh, when I was at the doctor, I was stitching, and she came in and she was like, "You're doing cross stitch?" And I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "I used to do that." So I told her, I said, "Look, it is a different world today. There is so much out there. Like, please come back." Come back to the world of cross stitch. Okay, I have another new start. And this was another market release. And this is also by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. And that's who designed my birthday start and Hughes. But this one is called Strawberry Thieves. Okay. And I'm going to show you my start. Okay, so on the chart, there are several designs. And I love them all. I want to stitch them all. But I started with, it's like a mattress finish. And it's the bigger one that's on the chart. Yeah, as soon as I saw this, I had to pre-order it. Okay, so here is my start. I am doing this on a 16 count Picture This Plus in the color Bashful. And so what I did is I went ahead and did all of the outlining pieces. So on this, you have a front, you have a back, and then you have the sides. So these are the two longer sides, and these are the two shorter sides. Let me give you an example. Okay, it's not going to be quite this thick, but your top and your sides, okay, which this one was a little bit different because it was one continuous piece. This is by Hands On Design, by the way. It's a block party, and it's called Mend, the Mend block party. You know what? I can give you an even better example. Hold on. So this one, I had been getting together my patriotic stuff. This, I stitched the top, and then I stitched 4 other pieces. This piece, this piece, this piece, and this piece. And then you hand stitch them all together, and then you put a back. And so I'm gonna do the same exact thing that I did with this, where I use a quilt cotton. I may even use this one with the strawberries and the pink. I think that's so cute, and all that green, because this one has green in it too, you know, and the red and the pink and everything. So I think it'll look good. And so I'm using all of the called for. There's a few, you know, overdyes, and then the rest is DMC. So I'm using all of that as called for. And sorry about that. So I'm just color completing as I go. I didn't complete all the red up here because I wanted to get that green in first, so that I knew, because they were really kind of spread out, the red, and so I didn't want to mess up. So once I get all the green in, I'm going to go back and finish up the red, and then I'll move on to something else. But I think it's so pretty. I love it. So there's my start on that. Okay, and the rest are WIPS. So they are projects that I have shown here before. So if you are a regular watcher, you would have seen them, and this is just showing you my progress. I do want to say thank you if you are returning. You know, it means a lot to me that you take the time to spend with me and have an interest in what I'm stitching. So I appreciate that. And if you're brand new, I hope you stick around. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm still trying to, I think it would be really cool to just get to that milestone. I don't know why, like, I'm perfectly happy with how many followers I have. I can't even believe I have the followers that I do have, but I'm still like, you know, anticipating, like, hopefully I'll have 5,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done so already, I would love for you to. Okay, so next, oh, this was another market start. This is a daily reminder by Brenda Gervais. And, so Sarah and I started this, we stitch like everything together, or a lot of things together. Cause you know, like I said, we were doing we did the Mayberry, we did the, Hair in My Garden together. You know, let's see, what did I think that's all I've shown. Well, she did my birthday start too. She's still working on hers. It's looking great. But this is a daily reminder by Brenda Gervais. This was from this year's market. And here's my progress. And I'm doing this on a Picture This Plus 18 count in the color Conifer. And I love the color of this fabric, but I really love the floss colors. So this is a color conversion, okay, this floss. Most of them are from Holly from Mrs. Jones Stitches. She did a color conversion. However, Sarah and I tried to get the same colors that she used, but we had to kind of improvise a little bit because some of them were not available. So her color conversions to color and cotton floss are stunning. And so we were just super inspired when we saw her brightened up version of this. And I think that the called for is stunning also, but we just kind of wanted to do something a little different and copied her. And so we're both loving it. So that's my progress there. And then, oh, this is another market start that she and I started together. Also, our friend Michelle is stitching this with us. She's Michelle Lee Quilts, and she has a beautiful Etsy shop selling project bags. Okay, let's see. Try to stay organized here. Okay, so this next one is Rose Hill Farm from Stacy Nash. And let me show you my progress. I worked a little bit more. Oh, I can tell you, I remember what I did last time I pulled it out. So previously I had gotten, so this is one of those borders where it's a double line border, like two different colors, but it's the same exact line with, there goes my light. I'm sorry. I'm dropping everything. It's a beautiful sunny day though, so hopefully the lighting's okay. This is, I'm stitching this on a 20 count fiber on a whim in the color Parchment. Isn't that gorgeous? Sorry, it is so wrinkled. I really haven't pulled it out since I got that second line of that border in there. So it's, that's all I did, I think, the last time I worked on it. Oh no. Well, because I'm such a color completer. So I did, it's like that, this color. So I did the word, you know, wherever else that was in the chart, I finished that. So looking at this makes me want to pull it back out and work on it some more. I'd like to really get going on the border and that the red. I really want to get going on that. So anyway, this is my progress on this and I love it so much. Well, I could say that about every project, and I probably kind of do. I'm sorry, but it's just, I really love cross stitch, like a lot, and I really like to talk about it, and I could talk about it all day, every day here. I'm using a combination on that of DMC and Fancy Floss. I kind of just looked at the chart and I thought, where do I want to see a lot of the Fancy Floss? And those are the ones I ordered. Okay, Oh, okay. This one, I did show this, and I did explain how this chart works and how you put it together in my last video. So if you are interested in that, I won't go over that again until maybe when I fully finish it, you know. But so the way, let me show you how I've been telling myself which side is up on this is, and I probably could do like a couple stitches in the corner or something, but where I had serged my fabric, there was the little tail, and so I know that that is this bottom. So this is by Reflected Swat. It is Entrelacs bleu or something. I don't know how to say it, but we'll just pretend like I just spoke perfect French there. So this I am stitching on a 20 count fiber on a whim in the color Moonstone using all of the DMC colors. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I just love it so much. So maybe you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, it's so pretty. I finished, did I finish the, I must have a little bit more to go in the middle of, oh, I think it's this color that I'm on. But I kind of finished like all the white and I think one blue color that was in that middle there. So then I moved on to this color. So anyway, oh, I just can't wait to get that done because it's going to be stunning to display. I just love it so much. Okay, and oh, next, this one I started back in October. And I started it because, so my friend Sarah had started this for her birthday a couple years ago, and she never had finished it. So instead of doing another new start for her birthday, she decided she would just work on some past birthday starts that she had not finished. So I said, all right, well, since you're doing that, I'll pick one of your birthday starts and I'll start that on your birthday. So the one I picked was Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. Now this chart is so beautiful. Let me read to you what it says. It says, night walk down the sky with a moon in her hand. And it is just stunning. So here is my start. I started with the border. I really want to get to some of the inside, but I am just taking my medicine and finishing it. I'm just going to finish it. Even though I really want to work on some other things, I'm just going to do it. And then you know what? I'm going to be so happy that I did. And I'm going to feel so accomplished. And then I can focus on all of the other things. However, I will say, it hasn't been a bad border to do. It's been pretty fun. I've been just kind of getting in my groove and doing it. And so it hasn't been bad. I feel like you can really finally see this fabric color. It does not photograph well. I never can capture a good picture of this. Maybe I just need to take it outside. However, especially if you look at it next to the white paper or the cream batting here on my board, you can see it is a purplish gray and it is beautiful. This color is by Picture This Plus. And it is called Sprite. I'm trying to look and see what 18 count is the count that I picked. So I'm using one strand. I do not know all of the colors that I'm using yet. So far, I've used DMC. But once I get into the inside, I don't think that's going to be the case. I really want to see some variegation in those flowers. In her dress, that color is no longer available. I do want it to be dark and variegated and beautiful. So I'm going to do a different color. So I am choosing colors as I go. One of the issues that I was worried about you see this peacock. Look, you can see it real good back here. That white color I didn't think was going to show really good on here. So I picked this WIPS Dye Works in the color Peacock. And you can see how beautifully variegated that is. So I'm still going to do the purple in the detail with this, and I think it's going to turn out beautiful. I may use that color somewhere. I don't know if I'll use it anywhere else in the chart. I'm not really sure, but like I said, I'm just picking as I go, and we'll see what happens. I'm so pleased with how well this color is showing up today on the video though, because I just, honestly, when I take a picture, I feel like it looks white, and I'm like, that is not a good representation of this color. Okay, so then next, I just zipped up my floss. Okay, so this next one is called Dear Daughter, and it's by Blackbird Designs. And I started this for my daughter's birthday, and I have this is what I've been doing. I've been just completing a color and then moving on, completing a color and then moving on. In the middle of that right now. So I have not completed a color. So once I pull this back out, I'll probably complete that color and then put it down and move on to something else. But here's my progress so far. And it's beautiful. I'm doing this on an 18 count. Picture this plus in the color Oaken. It's just a sweet little chart. I'm using some fancy floss and some DMC. I do that a lot with Blackbird. Blackbird in particular, I feel like it really doesn't matter what floss I use. It is a beautiful stitch, no matter if I use, all DMC or all fancy floss. Like it literally, it really doesn't even matter. It's going to turn out beautiful. And a lot of times I do a combination of both. I can actually show you a good example of that right now, because I have, okay, like I said, I had been pulling out some patriotic things. I love my patriotic dough ball, and a lot of it is Blackbird. So for example, these two, okay. Let's see which one. No, I think it was this. I think I used fancy floss, maybe a little of both on these, and then this one was all DMC. I think that's how it went. They all look beautiful. Like, it just doesn't matter, like, pull from your stash, make it your own. Like, I don't know. That's what I do anyway. You may not agree, but anyway, last one, Olga's stocking. All right, so, oh my gosh, this one is just, I'm so close to the finish line, but yet so far away. And I swear, every time I work on it, I don't feel like I'm making progress. And maybe it's because my friend Allie already finished hers, and because we started it together. And so now that she's finished, I don't know, because it's so fun when you're working on something with a friend and like you're both working on it, and now she's finished and I'm like, I still have all this to go. Anyway, so this is on an 18 count fiber on a whim in the color sand. I'm using all DMC floss on this, and I'll finish it as the stocking, and it'll be so cute, and I love it. I just need to finish it. I really, 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 really want to display it this fall, so I need to get it into gear. What I really need to do, here's what I need to do. I need to get these pumpkins to where they are fill-in-able. Then this needs to be my purse stitch, because I make a lot of good progress on purse stitches. That's what I need to do. So, or maybe I should stop starting so many things so I can finish some of these WIPs. Oh, well, okay, so that's all the stitching that I have to show you. I did want to talk a little bit. Oh, and if you like my shirt, I can link it below, but I actually got this on Amazon and I love it. Okay, so normally I don't talk a whole lot about plans unless it's like a stitch along I'm hosting, or, you know, just because I'm such a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl when it comes to stitching. I do what feels good in the moment. What do I want to stitch right now? You know what? I want a new start. And then I just start it. Like, that's just how I normally am. But there are a couple things that I am about to start, and I thought, why not mention it since I know I'm going to start them? Okay, so first off, I was watching Holly, Mrs. Jones Stitches. Her and Nicole Spohr are hosting a stitch along. The hashtag is Mary Bovey Sal. And this is a chart from Stacy Nash. It's beautiful. Sarah and I already wanted to stitch this. And so when we were talking about how Holly was talking about this on her video, and we were like, well, what's a better time to start it than now? That there's a stitch along. So we're gonna jump in on that. And then another one, so I had already loved this chart and wanted this chart, but I'm just gonna kind of see, and that's the thing, like if you're already stitching something and somebody's doing a stitch along, you can post and use their hashtag. It's just fun for everybody to connect and to see each other's progress. Anyway, there is a Blackbird Designs chart. It's called Come Into My Garden. And I already was planning to stitch this and kitted it up and all of that. And I just had not started it yet. Really, the reason I hadn't started it yet is because I like to cut my fabric first and serge it, and that way I can start in the middle. I just hadn't done it yet. And that's the only reason I hadn't started it. But I was watching Christy of Crosshatch Quilts, and her and her friend Kim, the stay-at-home quilter, I follow both of them on Instagram, and they both are doing a stitch along for this chart, and they're using the hashtag Be a Lightning Bug Sal. Now, this is really for them to celebrate and honor a good friend of theirs, Daylene Wilson. I did not know her, but I think it's so sweet that they are honoring her. She has passed away, and so they are starting that this coming week. And so whenever I start it, which I wanted to start it a while ago, but I just, like I said, I need to just cut my fabric. Sometimes for me, the start is the hardest part. Once I get a couple stitches in, then I can just go to town. But it's okay, am I going to start in the middle? Am I going to start in the corner? How much of a border do I want? Well, what is this going to go into a frame? What's the finished size going to be? You know, I'm just thinking of all these things instead of stitching, and then I'm over it and I just put it aside, and then I pick up something that's already started. So the starting oftentimes for me is just the hardest part. Not that it's hard, it's just, it takes a little more thought than just sitting down and grabbing something that's already going, you know? So anyway, those are some things that I plan to start. And like I told you, I'm planning to try I'm going to keep on with the Mayberry Sal, even though I finished mine so quick. Because I finished it so quick, I want to keep going. So I'm thinking a good goal is one a week. If I can do it, great. If I can't, whatever. It's just a goal. So I hope you'll join in on that. And if you're ever stitching anything that I've inspired you on, or that I'm stitching, or you think I might like, or something, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see it. And I'd love to connect with you there too. My information's down below. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Happy stitching!